So many people right now have career breaks on their resumes and in their professional lives because of planned and unplanned things, from layoffs to going to take care of families to having children. And it's time to stop apologizing for being a human on planet Earth who has to take time away from work for whatever reason you need to. If you have been treating a career break like something you want to hide or a secret, and you have been hiding it or not applying for jobs that you want because you're afraid of talking about it, I'm going to show you today how to own that career break. I want you to be able to talk about it confidently in your next interview and remove sorry from your vocabulary, because I want you to stop apologizing for taking a break from work and doing something else at that time. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear strategy on how to own your career break and how to talk about it in interviews. Okay, cool. All right, so why are people so afraid of talking about career breaks? I don't know, because we live in the United States where women are not taken care of, children are not taken care of, and of course, why would we need to take a break? We should be working at all times. Even though it's shown in studies that women get paid less when they return to work. Women get paid, they don't make as much money as men and their counterparts, and it's a choice sometimes to leave our career path so that we can take care of our family, whether it's our children or our parents. So in the sandwich generation, it's even harder to talk about because we didn't know that this was going to happen this way. And there's nothing that you did wrong, and it feels like we did something wrong when we take a career break, right? It feels like I don't want to talk about this. Even when I took my career break in between starting my business and quitting my recruiting job, I felt the yuckiness too, like I was doing something wrong, like I had to go and find a job. And there's nothing that you did wrong, but these feel like we did something wrong because of the culture that we're hearing from. We're hearing that it's important that you stay the course of your job, of the ladder, right? Of going up the ladder in your company or coming back as soon as you finish maternity leave. Some places only offer 6 weeks of maternity leave or parental leave. And you can tell that you're afraid of talking about your career break by noticing some of these symptoms. You feel guilty about when someone asks you about it, you feel guilty about it and you don't want to talk about it. Or alternatively, you overshare and become rambly in interviews. So you talk about how maybe a family member passed away and you needed to take care of them, or you talk about how you're taking care of your children and all of the classes that you've been taking while you were on leave, and trying to just like fill up the time in a way of like making it okay for them so that they understand why you did it, even though sometimes you don't even know why you did it yet. And we think the recruiters care about our gap, but they actually care less than we do, especially post-pandemic when many jobs people have been laid off. There's just like fewer people with a very traditional trajectory anymore. And the truth is, you are not behind. You are not behind because you did anything. You're not behind because you took a career break. You're not behind because you're starting a job search in your 30s and your 40s. In your 50s, you're not behind because of someone else's timeline. You've been doing something very important in your life. You've been either taking care of your family, you were laid off and still trying to trudge through the job market that is right now, and you've likely been taking care of your family or your well-being, and the system has convinced you that that is something wrong and that it's a liability that you need to explain, and you need to tell people why you even had it. Because how could someone be gone from their career for 7, 8 years and then still not even know what they want? Well, because we're living in a world that expects us to just show up, do the work, and get paid for it. But I believe that a resume gap isn't a hole. It's just a placeholder for your values. Your values could be something like, I really was working to find a job, but I couldn't find it, right? It was harder to do because of XYZ and the layoff. And also it could be because you took a break to take care of your family. And the moment you stop apologizing for it and you start believing that it was something that you needed to do and actually like have it be a part of the story, the recruiter and the hiring team stops wondering or making assumptions about your career break. right? So as soon as you mention it or you name it or you put it on your resume or you talk about it in an interview, they forget about it. It's like when I'll tell, like now, see my hand is shaking a little bit. I have a hand tremor in my hand. And a lot of times when I'm doing public speaking, I say I have a hand tremor, not because I need the audience to know, it's so that I can be calm about it. So I want you to think about you talking about your career break is you saying it so that you cannot think about it again and it can get like off your chest during the interview, okay? And then here's another secret. How a recruiter or hiring manager or team responds to your career break gives you so much information about whether or not you want to work there anyway. And if they're going to give you shit about it, or if they're going to judge you or call it a liability, then honey, you don't want to work there anyway. So how cool is it that you find out in that? So they're already doing you a favor by showing you their toxic culture ahead of time. So take that as a flag, take that as a data point and use it. So how do I do this with my clients and myself? So I had a client who had to take a longer career break for 2 years because she had a death in the family. And then at the time she needed to grieve and take care of herself and the well-being. And she was working in tech. So she was also burned out. So she was terrified to re-enter the market because of how the market is talked about, but also because the roles that she was looking for were not available as much as they used to be. And so we talked about how she was just afraid of even going because she didn't know what to say or how to talk about her career break. And so what we decided to do, like I talked about with my hand, is we decided to stop hiding it, right? So I had her do 3 things that I want you to do. We added a clear section on her resume, which was another line, like a job, as if she had a job from XYZ year to the 2 years that said career break for well-being or for health or for family needs. And then also on LinkedIn, you can do this. You can go on LinkedIn and search for companies, and the companies can be something like career break, well-being break, sabbatical. Choose the picture you like the best and don't consider it a gap, but now consider it as a deliberate choice. So when you're naming it, it becomes a choice. And when she got clear on the why of why she needed to take the break and why it was okay that she did to take care of her family and herself, she was able to say yes and say no. So what she was saying yes to was herself, and what she was saying no to was rushing into a job search that didn't feel right yet, until she was ready to alchemize the stories about feeling shame or feeling bad about not having a job for so long. Because she was able to show up as someone who knows that she gets to create her own life, and so do you, okay? So here are the steps that I want you. If you have a writing utensil, write these down. Otherwise, they're available in the notes inside of the roadmap that I created for you. You can grab it you can take notes, or inside of the link below, you can find a link to my roadmap where you can get more information about what we actually did. So step 1 was get clear, okay? Write down why you took the break, what it was about. And this can feel a little challenging because you might feel some self-judgment around it. You might feel bad about taking a break. You might feel like you shouldn't have, or like you feel resentment because you got laid off or it was a surprise or something like that. And that's okay, okay? That information, those tools, those words need to get out of you, because if they're stuck in you, you're gonna blurt them out in an interview anyway, and I'd rather have them on paper. So I want you to get really clear on what it gave you. What wonderful things came out of the break, whether or not it was planned or unplanned. Like, were you able to take some time away? Were you able to travel? Were you able to do some professional development? Were you able to be with your children? Were you able to be with your family? Put those on. And then the step 2 is label it on your resume and your LinkedIn, okay? So this isn't a secret time. This is time to just like rip off the Band-Aid, right? So put it on your resume as if it were a job, with a title like planned career sabbatical or family management and well-being, something like that. And then that's it. You don't have to think about it again, okay? And then the third thing is practice saying it out loud. Practice this pivot language, right? So you're pivoting from the break, or a person who is not working for a job right now. So you're practicing, I needed to take, perhaps it's something like, I needed to take time for my family and my well-being. It was deliberate, and it was a deliberate choice that allowed me to return now with full capacity and focus. Okay, so let's practice together. I chose to take a break from work so that I could take care of my family and my well-being needs, and now I am ready to come back focused and at full capacity. And I would love to work here at this place because XYZ. Okay? So, just so you know, you are not a recovering employee. You are now an expert who knows how to prioritize their own needs. You know how to set boundaries. You know how to talk about a career break that you've had, whether or not it was planned or unplanned. And if you want more support on figuring out how to talk about your career break without overwhelm, without shame, if you want to be able to talk about your career break and find a job that actually fits the life that you want, grab my best job method roadmap in the comment or in the description below. It's the exact framework that I use with my clients to move from burnout to alignment in their jobs and set the boundaries that they need and have the tools that they need to show up as themselves at work so that they can have the money and the life that they want. So remember, you are enough just the way you are, whether or not you have a job, whether or not you're working for money. You are enough. Your value has nothing to do with the work that you do. You are priceless. Your worth is infinite, okay? And your time away only made you better because you got to develop skills of taking care of yourself or learning new skills for professional development. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.